Hello, and welcome to another episode of Myth Mavens. I'm your host, Nemo,
And I'm Roman.
and today we are talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Well,
Yay! An
a-
actually good Game of Thrones show.
yes, and a faster turnout than the Percy Jackson show on our end. Uh,
To be fair, we weren't even sure if we were doing anything for Percy Jackson originally.
that is fair, yeah. I mean, we did plan for it, but it just took way too long to get to it.
Understatement. Um,
But yeah, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. An actually good show.
yeah.
Like as far as adaptations go, this is probably the best adaptation with regards to like from the latest batch of adaptations. that we've seen.
Considering how much is literally word for word from the page to the screen,
Mhm.
there are issues.
Yeah.
I don't agree with some of yours. You don't agree with some of mine.
Yeah.
Yay!
I mean that's
It's not the
like
same
the
as
point.
Percy Jackson.
That's like kind of the point, really. But yeah, let's without taking too long, let's get into the first episode, which is the Hedge Knight, and
Hmm.
it starts exactly as it does in books. Like even to the shot, it's taken
Yeah, the
from
shot is basically the same as it is in the book. It is insane. So, got it here.
Yeah, it's the same drawing that's in the books, and it's
Like
amazing.
that is exactly what it is on screen.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and we start with like Dunk burying Sir Arlan, which is where we also start in the books. And one of the best changes that this show does is um, like having Dunk voice out his thoughts in like trying to talk to
Yes,
his animals.
it's a thing of, as is generally the case, narration in like the thoughts are just left because you can't really translate them.
Mm-hmm.
But they do a very good job here.
Yeah, it's very well done, and um, one of the like again, this is gonna be my complaint in the first and second episode, but like the shock and awe that they use.
Yes, it is beyond absurd.
Yeah, like there are funny bits throughout the episode. It's not like the tone of the show is like not conveyed by the rest of the episode. So you don't need to include that initial like shitting scene. Like
Yeah, I think there are 3 openings that we hate.
yeah, pretty much.
It's the first, the second, and the last.
Yeah, I mean it's a tonal problem. The first and the second half uh, do not match the tone of the show, and the last one, well, it's an abrupt jump. Basically, that's it.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense for anything in this universe.
Exactly, and we like the tone of the show is conveyed through flashbacks, something we don't get in the books, like flashback to the
No,
time
but
of.
it basically does what the book does anyway with Duncan's thoughts about
Mhm.
Sir Arlan.
Yeah, exactly, and we see that their relationship was interesting. Like first episode conveyed that Sir Arlan didn't really care, but as it progresses, we see that yeah, he cared in his own way. Like
He cared in his own way. He was still bad.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I guess. But we then Dunk sort of goes to the inn and we meet Egg and we see Drunk and Daron sort of.
Yeah, Daeron the Drunken, who is very drunken. And that is basically how it plays out in the book anyway.
Yeah, and then he
Pretty much everything up until that he gets to Ashford is basically exactly how it happens in the book.
Yeah, and even like in Ashford, most of the things like sort of mirrors.
They expand on the logical things of Dunk needs to find someone to sponsor him.
Even in the books, like he has to find someone to sponsor him. It's just that.
Yeah, he does, but it's not the thing of, oh, we meet Lionel Baratheon and he's a party animal.
Yeah, one of the best changes is how we are introduced to more characters and we know more characters going into the 5th episode.
But I do have one. I really like the actor who plays Lionel Baratheon.
Mm-hmm.
But Lionel Baratheon is not supposed to be much older than Duncan.
Yeah. I mean,
Lionel Baratheon is the heir to Storm's End and is still a young man at this time.
I mean, aging up is a thing that like all adaptations
Yes, but
do.
it gets a little
Dunk
bit
age.
difficult. It becomes an issue when there's an event more than almost 30 years in the future when Lionel Baratheon is now going to be a man in like his 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I mean, even Dunk has been aged up to his like late 20s or early 30s,
Oh yeah,
and
Dunk has been basically Dunk's age has been increased by 10 years.
yeah, and so is like Baylor and Maker. They're also aged up pretty much. So
With Baylor and Maker, you can at least make the argument that they might look a little older,
mhm.
but they could easily still be. Yeah, these are two highly stressed individuals.
I
But
mean,
even then,
given
Baylor isn't even supposed to be 40 yet.
yeah, I mean, given the things that have been going on for the past few years in the realm, yeah,
I did notice something. I don't think in the discussion in episode 6, Valar mentions the age of his father.
no, it does not. But
Perfect opportunity to mention it. Don't.
yeah,
But that's an issue with the entire Game of Thrones universe as it is. The characters' ages are all over the place,
hmm
and we still technically have to deal with the fact that the show cut out Jaehaerys II.
to be fair, in the Game of Thrones show, it makes sense. Some of the actors are a bit too young, so
No, but the problem is that they literally condensed the timeline to the point they've cut out the king.
yeah, that is true. I mean, but it's fine. We see like like Dunk has conversations with a lot of people. Raymond Fossaway is one of them. Lionel Baratheon is another one. Like they have a very drunk and uh,
Yeah,
party basically.
yeah. Sir Manfred Dondarrion's companions.
hmm That's how I've written it. But yeah, it's basically. Uh, but yeah, they have a
Look,
very
to be
interesting.
fair, there is no way we can keep this PG considering it's a Game of Thrones property.
Yeah, but like there's an
We do our
interesting
best.
comparison that has been established between well, for lack of better term, prostitutes and knights. Uh, that they both sell their bodies for coins, basically, and
Yeah.
that mirrors like throughout this season. Even in the last episode, we see that sort of coming into play.
Mm.
uh,
Let's just say that if this was the case in the books, there would be zero respect for the Green Apple Fossilways.
yeah, pretty much. Uh, but anyway, so a lot of like as I said, Dunk's conversations with other people are expanded upon, and we as I said, we meet quite a lot of people in this first episode as well, and we end with like Egg and coming over and have meeting Dunk in the same way it happens in
Yeah,
the book, similar conversation as well, and
yeah, and it was really fun.
yeah, it's a very fun episode, which um I think we were very happy when we saw it,
Mhm.
and it just improved
We
upon
had,
it after every
yeah, I
episode.
think the
So
one issue we had was the
mhm.
opening.
yeah, I think both this and the next episode we have like uh, a very a very
I'd
jarring
argue the
beginning.
second is worse. I'd argue the
Second is
second one is
definitely
worse.
worse. Second is worse, but
But
like
let's move on to the second episode because let's skip talking about Sir Arlan's sword.
yeah. I mean, see, I'll mention just one thing that I have a problem with all nudity, not just like male or female. No,
Yes.
I have a problem with all nudity. So Game of Thrones show, you would expect nudity, but
See, I am well versed in HBO, so I'm unfortunate. I watched HBO's Rome,
yeah, but see,
and
the fact is
there is a surprising amount of nudity in that from the nobility.
fair. But the fact is that at least A Knight of Seven Kingdoms itself is a very tame book with compared when it's compared to like uh,
Oh,
a
absolutely.
Song of Ice and
It's
Fire.
also one of the first properties in the entire Song of Ice and Fire universe.
So
It's very similar to the first book. There is surprisingly little gore in the first book.
yeah, and
There is absolutely that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
compared to the later books,
To be fair, even the second book I would say is very tame compared to like
that's mainly because our perspectives do not include Stannis and Rob.
Yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, so second, let's move on from Sir Alan. And one of the things changes I'm quite like unsure of is that they made Dunk a bit bolder in his disposition compared to how he's in the books. Like,
I think it's necessary. In the book, he's pretty much just a passenger.
yeah, so as I said, like even in I mentioned there that obviously it gives him agency and drives the plot forward because
Yeah, we need to be able to root for Sir Duncan, and
Mhm.
you can't do that if he's just a passenger princess.
yeah, so if he is a passive protagonist, it doesn't really help. So yeah,
No,
I
so
could
even
see.
things like moving his introduction to the Targaryens from
Mm-hmm,
being he has to go to Plumber
mm-hmm,
to go for everything to being like he accidentally eavesdrops.
yeah,
That's a simple change that works.
yeah, and even like in the books, he doesn't really ask for the information about Sir Alan from Baelor. Baelor basically volunteers it, but here in the show, he asks for it, so that slight changes there.
That's a thing of, well, we need to have Dunk say something in this scene because he
Obviously, yeah,
doesn't say much in the original because
yeah,
he's completely like, oh, these are the Targaryens.
yeah. So I mean, as I said, a lot of the stuff that happens in the books happens inside Dunk's head, and the fact that we are not inside Dunk's head in the show, you have to move things around. So I don't mind it
Yeah,
much, but it does lessen impacts of some of the choices that Dunk makes later on. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not as big a deal as some of the other changes.
no.
Mm.
You say Maker has done dirty. I do not think so.
I
I think
absolutely
you
think
need a bit of comic relief here, and honestly, the easiest target for that is Maker.
fair, but the
His
fact that it
character is on
continues.
point.
The fact that it continues throughout and
Very simple. You know who the character who Maker reminds me of a bit the most?
mhm.
Great John.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this is what I mean. What I told you that Maker might as well be a king from the north with how he acts at times.
Yeah, but like he's a prince of the run. There are things that he should know,
Yes, and there are many different princes in the world.
but
You
it's
set the
Maker.
news.
But it's Maker. That's the difference. Like I don't expect the same kind of things from Rhaegar,
Maker
for
is a
example.
yeah, but Maker is a warrior.
Yeah.
There has not been a war in a while.
To be fair, Baylor is also a warrior, and he's also he
Yes, but
devotes.
Baelor is many things, whereas
Mhm.
Maker is just a warrior.
Fair.
Think when you look at the four sons of Daeron the Good,
Mm-hmm.
you have Rhaegal the sickly and easily dies. That is very much Baelor. You
Yeah.
have Ares the studious, the wise. That's
Mm-hmm.
also Baelor, and there's Maker the warrior. That's also Baelor. Baelor is the perfect. Baelor is literally the perfect prince.
And that's exactly why he dies.
Yes, Maker is just a warrior.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Now, they undercut him in the last episode. That I
yeah,
agree with, but they don't undercut him here.
he's played a bit for laughs, but uh, anyway,
There's not
so
much to talk about for this episode because it's
no,
just
it's a,
almost a straight adaptation from the book.
yeah, and it's a pretty good like all the
This the
interactions that
stuff with
Dunk has.
Tanzel,
Mm-hmm.
that's all pretty much okay. They upped the puppetry a little bit.
Yeah, the puppet go from like this size to
The puppets go
mass.
from regular like just show puppets to, yeah, we need to make something exciting in these early episodes, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, so it again it also drives home the point in next episode, which we'll move on to, which is called the Squire.
Yeah, but oh, I do want to. This is the episode with the first joust, right?
It's the opening, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the openers. The one thing I missed was the introduction of all the lords.
Yeah.
That is missing, in my opinion, because it establishes who's all there,
Mm-hmm.
and it means that in episode 4 we do not get that.
Yeah.
It's also missing there, and
Yeah.
I don't like that because like just mention who's there and why they are so important.
Mm-hmm. I think I
Like
mentioned to you later on that while there are signs throughout that egg is not actually who he says, well, not actually a squire, a low common born. He's a Targaryen. The one thing that I missed is how he talks about different knights and different lords and introduces all of them to
Mhm.
Dunk.
Oh,
Which
I mean, the easiest way to spot it is the fact that he uses "my lord,"
I mean, yeah, that entire conversation with like
which is one
Tywin
of the
and
most famous scenes of the TV show. Was Tywin correcting Arya?
yeah, and it's one of the greatest additions of the TV show, I would say.
But I do. But the problem is like I liked being introduced to like
Mhm.
the Kingsguard Knight and a bit of the background of Donald of Duskendale. That's very fun and well done.
Yeah,
But it costs us background characters do need to be introduced because Dunk is supposed to call out all these great and mighty lords of Westeros,
yeah,
and we
and the
don't know them.
yeah, and he
And
doesn't really call
even
them by
during that
name.
scene,
Hmm.
we'll get to episode 4 because that's
Hmm.
my one complaint about episode 4.
Yeah. So episode 3, the Squire. Uh, we are
We meet
introduced
more
to
knights.
more knights. Robin Reisling. We see Humphrey
Hey,
Harding.
Reisling actually gets a personality.
Yeah, and
Oh, it's yep, that's a warrior.
yeah, he's a zealot or also he also a warrior. So it's
Yeah,
a very
we
good
also have
mix.
we also have the Humphreys.
We see
We
that.
don't really get to do much, but did he really have to go with the Tarashi style mustache for Humphrey Beesbury?
I mean, that if anything, their branding is on point. Let's be fair.
Oh, the branding goes too far in episode 6.
Yeah, pretty much.
That took a jump straight into high fantasy there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's anyway, we will get
But
there.
yeah, the
But yeah.
Song of the Hammer and the Anvil is
Mhm.
a perfect addition.
It's a very
It's
good
a very
addition.
Martin song. It's also just like, so we opened up The Hobbit.
Yes, but also it's not a song you'll find in The Hobbit. It's a bit
Oh no,
crash.
absolutely not. It's way too brutal, but it's a very realistic
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I could
it mirrors
easily see such a song becoming a folk song.
yeah, definitely, and I think it mirrors a song from real world. I think I remember hearing it. I don't exactly remember the name of it. Maybe I'll find it, but yeah, it's definitely a song that you can definitely find people singing in taverns and stuff. Which yeah, Hammer and the Anvil, one of the best things to happen in the last decade in this universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, so things happen. We see
Did they added a bit of thing where Duncan refuses to fix the joust?
Mm-hmm.
What is even more interesting is that it's very clear that Duncan's supposed to lose this, to win this, right?
Yeah.
This fixed joust.
Yeah.
He refuses. That has more. If they'd done it the other way around, where he was supposed to lose, that would be.
I mean, that wouldn't.
This is a
impact
stronger
much,
showing of
yeah.
honor.
Yeah, obviously.
This is a stronger showing of honor
Also,
because he has an easy win.
yeah, a lot of people seem to say that why they asked him to and not just have like Ashford throw the match.
Simple.
He has to choose his
Simple.
opponents.
It also it gives House Ashford the perfect opportunity to go like, this guy's pretty fucking strong and tall.
Mm-hmm.
They could employ him afterwards. That would be
Yeah.
a genuinely logical thing to do.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
Dunk is very much not a smart person. But he's visibly strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So his honor and his kindness are very much on display throughout this episode, even before we get to the Tansel bit at the end, and how he treats Egg after Egg had sort of gone away with his horse and trained on his own. It humanizes him. It again, he is the protagonist of this show, so it allows the readers to sympathize with him before he does what he does at the end. Because we have seen Targaryens for like 2 shows now. We obviously sympathize and liked Dany. Even in the House of Dragon. While we are not supposed to like anyone, they have made it so Rhaenyra has a bit more of a moral high ground than most people.
To be fair, arguably she had the high ground in the book anyway.
But
being the appointed heir.
Yeah, but she does end up
got
doing
undercut
things
in the coup.
She does end up doing things that sort of.
Oh, absolutely! The show has one chance at redemption left, and that's if they properly do the downfall of Rhaenyra.
Yeah, very much so. Anyway,
which, to be fair, we saw a hint of that in the trailer.
Yeah, so I hope it goes well. Anyway, So, Rick, with coming back to Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, so we have seen Targaryens. We don't know Dunk. So it allows us to sort of latch on to Dunk more so than the Targaryens. Like even in the last episode, we saw Baelor being the good hand of the king, the good prince of the realm that he is. So contrast that with Aerion, which
Aryan, who is very much the problem child of the family.
pretty much. I mean, there's a reason he basically dies by drinking.
Yeah, okay, but that's that's nearly sorry, that's 25 years in the future.
Yeah.
We are in 209 after the conquest.
Anyway, so there's a very interesting bit with Egg and Dunk talking about their fathers, and Dunk says that he was likely hanged because he was probably a thief, and if he was large, he was probably not a good one. And Egg says that he's a bit estranged from his father. He doesn't really know his father.
Which I didn't personally understand. This it makes sense for what they're trying to do, but it's also Egg, you would live in your father's household.
Not really. I think we know he lives in King's Landing and Maekar lives in Summerhall.
I think Maekar very much travels in between quite a bit.
Yeah, but again, a traveling father and stationary son. There's very little sort of.
Yeah, but it's also just a thing of this is normal in the medieval world.
Fair.
It feels a bit modern.
I guess, yeah.
Because for the medieval nobility, this is just bog standard.
Yeah, but again, it's fantasy.
For goodness sake, the heir to the throne doesn't live in King's Landing. He lives on a volcano.
Yeah, but that's, as I said, it's fantasy, so you can explore modern sort of ideas.
You can, but this felt a little too modern for me. Because it's a modern child anxiety.
Okay, I quite like it, but I can see that definitely. Anyway, we then
Fortune teller. Gosh, wonder what it's foreshadowing.
Yeah, I mean, Dunk being richer than the Lannister. That's it. Nothing else.
I wonder how many pages that means he has. It's very well done. I did like how there was confusion online about richer than a Lannister. I mean, it's very logical.
Yeah,
if you remember a scene from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's talking about
that is a deliberate callback. Future.
It's definitely a callback because, well, it happens.
Yeah, it goes back to a famous scene in the show. And then Egg dying in a fire. It's like
that basically
spelling out Summerhall. Are we?
To be fair, that is, I think, one of the weaknesses of this show. Like a slight weakness that it spells out a bit too much.
But that's the thing. We don't know anything about Summerhall.
That is true. We actually
we know.
Fact, did you
frighteningly little?
Do you know in one of the interviews from recent, the actor for Egg revealed that apparently George R. R. Martin told him that Egg as a Dunk survives Summerhall, which
there has long been speculation about him being a gravedigger.
Listen, there has been a speculation about each and everything in
but also, I want to point out, maybe don't believe the word of an 11-year-old.
Yeah, fair. But as I said, like there has been speculation about each and everything in this book, so it's not like this person is that person is that person has been there since the beginning.
I've got A World of Ice and Fire open, and the section on Summerhall is tiny.
It might also be in Fire and Blood, I think.
No, Fire and Blood only goes up to the dance.
I don't remember exactly.
That's part 1. Fire and Blood is part 1. But
okay.
It's literally just it's literally not even a paragraph.
Yeah, that is way too.
And then the small section that we have from the history of Archmaester Gildain, that is it.
Yeah,
that is pretty much the entire. It is this section is all we have on Summerhall in a book this big.
Yeah. So we know very little about Summerhall, and that basically sort of foreshadows that.
And if we nerds who know most of the backstory of this world know very little about Summerhall.
Mm-hmm.
Regular viewers are not going to
Oh,
know
I
a
don't
damn
think I
thing.
don't think they did. I don't think
They
Summer Hall
might
was ever
remember a
mentioned.
thing about a king dying in fire. That is it.
Yeah, I don't think Summer Hall was ever
That also
mentioned.
requires them actually knowing that Egg becomes king.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have had to do a bit of like a jumping around to actually remember that Egg is 10th in the line to becoming king.
Yeah, he's very. Is he 10th?
Yeah, it goes Baelor, Valar, Materis,
Montaris,
Ares,
Ares, Rhaegal,
Rhaegal,
Aelor.
Baelor,
They-
Arian, Daeron,
Rhaegal has a
Arian.
son, remember? Rhaegal has a son named
Yeah,
Aelor.
yeah. So Aelor, then Maekar.
And then Maekar, Daeron, Arian. Aemon is technically still in the line of succession
Yeah,
at this
Aemon
time.
refuses.
He has
That's,
not
that's
sworn his maester's vow yet.
yeah. We know that Aemon was asked and he refuses. And
Yeah, but Aemon only does so. No, Aemon goes to the wall to avoid being used in plots against Aegon.
no, but even
He's
before
already
that,
sworn his maester's vow by then. By being a maester, he is no longer in the line of succession.
does he? Okay, I didn't remember.
Look, obviously, if there were to be the king of Ek and his family suddenly kicked the bucket,
Yeah.
then they'd say, we have no choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah. So he's not called Aegon the Unlikely for like nothing.
Yeah.
So
Also, spoilers for everything, which we forgot to add.
I'll add another spoiler like tag, like I did in the.
You are
first
so
episode.
good at you're the editor of this show, everyone.
Hey, that was a good spoiler tag. Anyway, so then we see Rabin Fosterway talking about the Targaryens, and we see how.
Yeah. They're incestuous aliens, Duncan. Okay, going a little on the nose here, which is even weirder when they haven't practiced incest in a while.
I mean, this is probably the least incestuous they have been in like centuries.
Oh no. Daeron the Good's father and mother were brother sister.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. From Daeron the Good marrying sort
But
of.
Daeron the Good
Martell.
married to Martell.
Mm-hmm. Baelor marries.
And Baelor married.
I think.
Who did Baelor marry again?
I don't exactly remember who Baelor marries.
I know that Maekar married a Dane.
Yeah, Maekar marries a Dane, which is also shown at the beginning with Egg sort of looking up at that shooting star. Nice reference.
Oh, a Dondarrion.
A Dondarrion. So yeah, so this is one of the least incestuous they have been in centuries. I think
I forgot how weird it is that Baelor was allowed to marry a Dondarrion, and not exactly the strongest of the lords.
Yeah, I know Maekar sort of
it's
just
all,
married.
but it feels like when you think of it, it's a logical thing. Is to soothe the Marcher lords.
Yeah, probably. I know Maekar
it's
marries
because those will be the
young.
lords most pissed off about the Dawn marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, I do know that Maekar, knowing that he has very little shot at becoming king, marries very young and just marries a Dane. So
yeah, which is I have a feeling it's a slightly higher prestige marriage than a Dondarrion.
I would say they're both at the same level. Like I don't know if Danes are that.
The Danes are outright one of the most powerful houses in Dawn. The Dondarrions are not outright one of the strongest houses in the Stormlands.
Anyway, so yes, as I said, this is one of the least.
It's also, but it's interesting that it's the Fosso way thinking clearly is screw these guys.
I mean, he is from the Reach, and so
I'm thinking there is more behind this originally, in that the Fossoways are one of the oldest houses in the Reach.
That is true.
They were probably not in favor of the Tyrells being given Highgarden by the dragons.
Also, I think at this point, Fossoways have lost all of their land. So because Stefan is not allowed, and the Fossoways are not allowed at this point. So that is also sort of adds to the resentment that they harbor for the Targaryens. But yeah, so we see how the general populace.
Yeah, but sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Does it not? Because in the show, Stefan Fosfeld clearly says that he would be made a lord if he fights for Aryan.
Yes, okay. In an let's see. in an unknown time between 130 and 209 AC, the house lost the lordship. That's all we know.
So yeah, we do know that
Which,
they lost.
but that doesn't make much. It's very weird because houses in Westeros losing their lordship is exceptionally rare.
Yeah, I mean, we'll meet one that loses it next season, but
There is one in the main series.
even in the main
House
series,
Derry.
I mean, they were very tiny.
House Derry is the House Derry was one of the most powerful
Mhm.
Riverlands houses until the rebellion.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a little bit weird, mainly because in all other sources, the Frostways were lords. It feels like this was a case of Martin hadn't worked out the houses of the Reach yet. We know
Probably.
this is the case because The Hedge Knight is one of the earliest books in this entire universe.
Yeah, it was printed out in 1998, so which is like just after the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so by that point, we'd not even met any Reach houses besides Loras Tyrell.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so
I think it might just be a case of later canon established the Frostways being lords, and
yeah, so he went back and course corrected, which is fine. Things happen, but as I said, this also shows why they harbor some resentment against the Targaryens and what the general
yeah.
populace might think of it now that the dragons are all dead.
But the
Basically,
thing is, it's not going to be the general populace that thinks it. Outside of the ones in the
general nobility.
areas directly destroyed by the dance.
Yes.
So that's Bitterbridge, Tumbleton, the Riverlands, and King's Landing.
Fair.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's the entire Riverlands, but you know.
Yeah, we even see in the like next episode we'll get to it. Anyway, so then Arion sort of does his debauchery and attacks Tansel for a puppet show, and Aegon goes back, brings back Dunk, and Dunk goes in his fury.
Yeah, that's it's pretty much like it's in the book.
Yeah, righteous rage and attacks them, and when Aerion retaliates, Aegon saves him basically from the guards, which he first names the guards even in the book. I think he first names the guard, which is
he does.
You can tell that he is very like well acquainted with the people around him.
And that is where it comes into the issue of, okay, if X spends all his time in King's Landing, how does he know the members of... Where do these guards come from? Because they're with Arion, and Arion lives in Summerhall. So logically, he has Summerhall guards.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a thing of, just...
Yeah.
Are they just Targaryen household guards from King's Landing?
Probably.
But Maekar would bring his own men.
Yeah.
Hell, Baelor would bring his own men.
I mean, he brings 3 King's Guards. What else do you
To be fair, those King's Guards are probably just outright assigned to Baelor, Valar, and Maekar. I think it's probably going to be one for Baelor, one for Valar, one for Maekar.
Yeah, that would make sense because those 3 have the most likelihood of being in this.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Sir Willem Wilde is the one assigned to Maekar because we never see him. He's also the Stormlander.
I think he is in the background without his helmet.
He is in the background of a few shots, but that's it.
Anyway, so things happen. The ending music is a bit
editing is a choice.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect for this show. This show has made quite a few choices that that veer away from the general perception of fantasy, and I think that is nice experimentation. There are some things that I obviously do not like. We'll get to it in the 6th episode. But overall, I think the experimentations that they're doing is nicely thought out, I would say. Anyway, so...
Yeah. Then we get to the whole thing of they needed to spell out the names of all these lords and knights because that is the clearest indication that there's something up with, even beyond the my lord and the various things where he's a little too he knows a little too much. It's the fact that he knows the lords by their armor.
Yeah.
And because we don't have the whole scene where basically of the jousting where it's like challenging and all that. We don't get that.
Yeah.
We do miss out on a bit of the jousting, and it's a bit sad that they were so proud of the jousting in this show,
To be
and then
fair,
they don't do the joust.
to be fair, there's only so much budget to go around.
There's only so much budget to go around, and but it's clearly went to the dragon.
I think, yeah, I think fair. But I think from recent shows we have grown a bit too conscious of how the budget sort of distributes.
We are very well aware of how let's just call out the fact that we can clearly tell when the budget ran out on Percy Jackson.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's where the episode ends, and we can move on to the next episode, which is aptly named 7, which, in my opinion, is the best episode of the show.
Yeah, and the only issue I really have is the fact that Dunk is not able to call out all these lords for being cowards
Yeah, I
by
quite
name because he doesn't know about them.
Yeah, I quite agree. And we'll get to that scene in
like
particular.
there is something awesome in the fact in the book. It's very much like these lords are shamed. Like they are horrified by their own actions.
And in this show, at least, it's undercut a little bit by the humor of the Bracken, which, I mean, you wouldn't expect anything else.
I mean, he is called also the Brute.
Yeah.
But it's also just a case of, so Martin really dislikes the Brackens, doesn't he?
I mean, I think that was a bit too obvious.
I feel like it would have been the perfect opportunity. It's one of those things where it's like we are told there are Brackens and Blackwoods at Ashford, but we never meet any Blackwoods.
Yeah, fair. But we will meet a Blackwood in the next season, or I think the season after that. Definitely.
It's the season after. Next one is in the Reach.
Yeah, next one is in the Reach.
Very weird to find. It's going to be very weird to find the Blackwood in the random outskirts of the Reach.
I think he's mentioned at least. Bloodraven.
I mean, if you mean Bloodraven, he's probably mentioned.
Yeah, he's
mainly because
mentioned.
Next season is going to have a doozy to start with. Everyone's dead.
Yeah. I think we are gonna get a bit of the first episode is definitely not gonna be at House of Grey. We're definitely gonna.
We are going to get an episode of So it's been a year and a half, and a lot has happened.
Yeah, and we might also get an Old Town scene, but who knows? Anyway,
this is very well. It's a very well written episode. It's.
I think, as I mentioned to you, a lot of this episode, the dialogues of this episode are taken straight from the book, so you can tell how good Martin is at writing dialogues in particular.
And here we go again with, I don't agree with your opinion on Maker. It's logical that Maker wouldn't really know about this. Maker never seemed to study his type.
Yeah, if Maker doesn't, how does Arian? Like, you see...
Because Arian does, because it's very, very clear that Arian has been scrambling for information.
Fair, but Arian is
Arian is many things, but stupid is not outright one.
I don't think he's stupid.
He almost certainly, the moment he realized, oh shit, trial by combat.
Yeah, so
which is a bit weird because he can have a champion stand for him.
I mean, he'll probably have one of the King's Guards stand for him.
But Arian probably has to have an arrogance and an ego to have a champion stand for him.
Yeah.
Also, Baylor would shame him for it.
Maker would shame him for it.
He probably spent time looking this shit up.
Yeah. I think even...
Because it's clearly... A Tribal 7 is clearly a move of desperation.
Yeah. When Arian refuses to accept the trial of combat, you can see Maker sort of shaming him into that. He can't really do that.
Actually, even now that I think about it, it might also just be of, Arian would probably be one of the few Targaryens who would willingly read about Maegor.
I mean, given the fact that he names his son Maegor, yeah.
Yes! I think it's I don't think it's a coincidence that he's the one who realizes thinks about the Trial of 7.
And that's the more important part. The last one that happened because of the succession crisis, basically. So
the last one that happened because Maegor was a tyrant.
Same thing. 13 people died. 14. He's the only one who lived, but still.
It's questionable if he even lived.
I mean, he was in coma for like 2 months or so.
He was in coma for a while and also was never the same.
So yeah, so it's Targaryen history. So I would expect at least the Targaryens to know about it. At least Maegor would also sort of know about it, at least in passing.
Yeah, but this is why I'm comparing him more to the freaking Great John. Great John is many things, but studied he is not.
Fair.
And I love Great John.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's a bit jarring to me that the Targaryen wouldn't know about Maegor's history. But anyway, it's not
To be fair,
that big a
Maegor
deal.
is going to be the part of the Targaryen history they really want to forget about.
Probably. But yeah,
They probably don't like talking about either Aenys or Maegor because that's not a good time to be a Targaryen.
it was they were new dynasty. Let's give them some grace.
I mean, it's more the fact that Aegon the Conqueror had a son who was pathetic and a son who was a monster.
I mean, Daeron and Aerion. Similar. I mean, Aenys. Anyway, let's move on from Targaryen history. Then sort of they talk about Trial of Seven, and Maekar gets very pissed that Aerion just drags him out of the chamber, and they start gathering knights. Duncan and Daeron talk about Daeron's dream, which obviously foreshadowing for the later bit, and then Stefan goes away obviously to bring knights, and Aegon goes away to bring knights. This time, actually doing it.
Yeah, and this time we have a genuine reason why these knights show up.
Yeah. So we know Stefan. We know Lionel Baratheon. We know Robin Reisling. We know Humphrey Harding because obviously he was.
Yeah, and we know why the Humphreys are there.
Yeah, and Beesbury is also friends with Baratheon because we saw him dancing.
Well, no, the Humphreys are brothers-in-law.
Oh, they are also brothers.
They are outright brothers-in-law. That's why it's even more special that it's the Battle of the Humphreys.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I that was a bit like a disappointing in the next episode that what they mentioned about the Humphreys, but we'll get to it.
To be fair, they deliberately did not show us much.
I mean, I don't mind.
You can see most of the canonical book things happen whenever Dunk looks up.
Oh, obviously, yeah, absolutely.
They did a very good job of integrating that.
I quite agree.
Now, here's the thing of missing the common folk talking to Dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cut by... That was basically the case of, oops, shit.
Yeah, I saw that AMA with...
it's basically just a thing of that boss plan. They removed it from episode 4 because it was a little on the nose. And planned to put it at the beginning of episode 5, presumably by having the small folk crowd be in favor of Dunk.
Yeah.
And then just forgot to put it back in.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That sort of loses why he's called a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Because, well, we see him standing up for the common folk, but the fact that it's not reciprocated by the common folk is something that it doesn't really sit well with me. But anyway.
Also, I get why they gave a Knight who remembered his vows to Baelor because it plays into what they'd already worked with Baelor.
That is true, yeah.
But he'd been, especially when Dunk was calling out the nobility of Westeros for not remembering their vows.
Yeah, fair.
Then it's a good thing to have the Crown Prince effectively shame everyone.
Yeah, quite so. Then
also, simple thing. You can tell the armor doesn't fit Baelor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's armor fits them perfectly, except Baelor.
Which also means that Maekar was here to
Maekar was... That's what I mean by Maekar as a warrior. He wasn't even planning on jousting. He just had his armor with him. That is a very Maekar thing to do.
Probably. He might need his shield again to block something.
Also, he was probably just assuming... Yeah, one of my sons might do something stupid. I might have to duel someone.
To be fair, the stupidity starts even before the show begins. Yeah.
Yeah. And then having the Game of Thrones music start as Baelor enters, and then have it play over the credits and morphing into Duncan X theme,
Yeah.
the main theme of the show, that is well done.
Yeah.
And it is a deserved main theme.
I quite agree. Yeah, it's very well deserved, and we see that we see that how it was sort of played for laughs in the first episode, and we now see why it was played for laughs, because that makes this moment resonate more. Because it's,
I mean, it was also done that way because it's always been a bit silly. The House of the Dragon is the same opening music as Game of Thrones.
yes,
That was
but-
pure nostalgia bait.
yes, but like
House of the Dragon needed its own theme song because it's a little too much. You can use the main theme to emphasize key points, but don't use it as its main theme.
Yeah, definitely. Like it can be a bit.
But
anyway,
yeah, episode 5.
episode 5 in the
What
name
a
of the mother.
surprise that it's got in the name of the mother of all ones, the defender of the innocent.
Yeah, and we start with a "Your Mom" joke by Lionel Baratheon.
Which, to be fair, you can call it your mom. It works very much because it perfectly explains Maker, and when we go to the flashback, perfectly explains Dunk.
Yeah, very much so.
And that is Baratheon crass humor we know from the Baratheons.
Yeah, fair.
That is humor that would not be out of place coming out of Robert's mouth.
Oh, absolutely. Like you can see Lionel being a combination of Renly and Robert.
You can tell he's his great grandfather.
Yeah, you can't see Stannis in him, but you can definitely see like Robert and Renly. Definitely.
Yeah, to be fair, that's always the case. Like, some people just don't look like the rest of their family.
Anyway,
Stannis always felt more like he. To be fair, Stannis is like his father.
Yeah, in a way.
But yeah,
As
we're
is-
missing a few things from the preludes to the battle.
Yeah.
The lances.
Yeah, the explanation of why they choose Tony Lances and why
That comes back in the third novella. We kind of needed that one.
Yeah, and we see why they chose Tony Lances and the other side chose War Lances, and the immediate effect from it that Dunk doesn't really know how to do joust very well, so he immediately gets skewered.
Yeah,
first, like,
I agree with that they went a little too far with how far it went in, because even with how Dunk is portrayed, that's a fatal wound.
A lot of the wounds that Dunk takes in this battle are fatal.
A lot of his wounds are not fatal. A lot of his wounds are barely any penetration because of the mail.
Yeah, the chainmail does help, yeah.
His mail does a lot to protect him. His helmet does a lot to protect him. We know Steely Pate was very proud of his armor. It's very important that he's very much a good blacksmith.
Yeah.
But that lance goes in too deep.
Yeah.
That will have punctured organs. So it should have been a little bit less.
Yeah. So regarding the flashback, now I have a certain issue with how it's paced, but I also don't know how I would like restructure it to make it flow better.
Yeah. Well, the flashback begins with basically showing, Dunk's about a decade older.
Yeah.
Maybe even 13 years older, because he is he's getting hooves and left behind bits and bobs from the Battle of the Red Grass Field. Because that is the only battle that can be.
The fact that it's so close to the King's Landing, that.
It is we don't know where it was, but we know it was close to King's Landing. It's definitely not in sight of the Red Keep close.
It's outside, obviously.
But that's a way of framing it so that we know where we are.
It's even outside the walls of the King's Landing, because King's Landing is very much on a peninsular region. So
yeah, so it works, and you can tell it was a brutal battle. There are tattered banners. There's a tattered Lannister banner, and a very weird banner with a weird lion on green. I wonder if that's a reference to another book.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that was pointed out, I was like, yeah, no, that is the Osprey banner.
Yeah, that'll come back in the next book.
That is very clever. And then we have oh, ha ha, the dying knight is afraid.
Yeah. They
Ha
tried
ha
they
ha.
tried to save a Frey.
I would not be surprised because the third novella has a joke about the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's going to be very funny.
Mm.
I think the second one might also have some funny joke about the phrase because that's an easy through line they can pull that
Yeah.
would not feel out of place.
Yeah.
The phrase are a joke in Westeros anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. It's based only because of their position that they have the reach that they have. If they were not positioned well, they would be worse than
To be
dragons.
fair, their positioning doesn't make any sense for how they're so wealthy. But that's George R. R. Martin not understanding how roads work.
And the fact that they haven't been able to build a new road
A new bridge. To be fair, that makes sense for what we know about the Green Fork.
Mm-hmm.
It's more the thing of, yeah, so why? Because the road goes. Are we supposed to guess that the road goes Seagard, the twins, to Moat Cailin?
Yeah, it takes a sharp
And it's like,
U-turn.
okay, in no world does it make sense the North doesn't have a western port anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, the Ironborn. The Ironborn haven't raided the North in centuries.
I mean, they keep trying. They they fail, but
They
yeah.
do, but it's also just like, but the Starks are also not as stupid. It's a flaw of the world building, in my opinion.
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Anyway, Frey tangent done.
Yeah. So it's a time frame.
When they are you messaged me like yesterday about a sigil you spotted.
Yeah, after
When
they break off.
Rafe and Dunk are heading back to King's Landing across the same roads. We've seen other characters in the other series. Very
even Ser
done.
Arlan later on goes to the same to the same road. So
that is the sigil of House Stokeworth of Stokeworth.
Yeah, you told me.
It's a lamb and a
in a chalice. Yeah.
in a chalice. It's a different sigil from the book version, but this is the canonical TV show universe.
Yeah,
version.
Obviously, you have to make it.
We've seen it before.
And
okay. The implication is that is a squire bringing back the body of his knight.
Yeah, that's
because he's not wearing the colors.
Yeah, that is.
And gosh, I wonder why they showed us that one. Because they don't outright spell out why there's a body buried near Arlan's campsite.
A lot of people missed it because they just saw him trying someone's helmet.
Put on the helmets and like acted.
Yeah, but they missed the
but
grave.
That is Arlan's nephew who died at the red grass field.
I think Dunk talked about it in one of the earlier episodes that when his squire died in the red grass field. But
everything in Flea Bottom. That is the most Flea Bottom has ever looked.
Yeah, that is that is very well done. Given the
and I've seen people say like, why is a one-handed man in the City Watch? Because they are desperate for manpower.
I mean, at this point, yeah, Blackfire.
The Blackfire Rebellion probably drew every able-bodied man from King's Landing.
And yeah, they were very close to King's Landing. It's only because of Baelor and Maekar that they were
almost certainly the Goldcloaks fought in the battle by virtue of they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So all that's left is the ruins. And things like we don't want Blackfire leather. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, calling it Daemon's Rebellion is going to cause issues with people who only watch TV shows.
The number of people I have seen like mistake it for being that Daemon and that Daeron. Not even like a different Daeron. That Daeron. So
they think Daeron the Blue Queen Daeron. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, I can see why. People now probably think they've spoiled the end of House of the Dragons. They haven't.
Not really.
They have in one way, but they haven't outright. They spelled out that there have been 4 Aegons.
Yeah, they do spell out there have been 4 Aegons, but like we saw Aegon
but they don't
coronation, so it's not like we didn't see Aegon II's coronation. So
no, yeah, But yeah, this entire flashback is fun. The only thing I think went on too long was, yes, we need to see Dunk's perseverance, but it went on a little too long.
Yeah, that dragged the bit, like episode a bit.
It makes sense for what we need to do, but it's also just like,
Yeah,
Dunk's injured. Like, I get why we're seeing him walk like this, but that wound's infected.
yeah, and he drinks from like a stream that, and he sort of goes into a diarrhea mode, so that would kill him, very much so, very fast.
Yeah, it goes on a little too while.
It's a bit too
It's a bit too
fantastical,
long.
but it's fine.
Yeah, but it also establishes that Dunk is special
Yeah, we know he's
because he
not that
can
good of a fighter.
sustain massive damage.
Yeah, we know he's not that good of a fighter because Arion very easily sort of overpowers him in most of the time. Well, in sword fighting, but his
He
resilience is
overpowers him until he gets tired.
Yeah, until he gets tired. And
Dunk has a higher stamina.
yeah, he has higher stamina, he has higher resilience, and the ability to take damage, and that's where he succeeds.
Yeah, and this battle, the duel between Arion and Dunk is insanely well done.
Yeah. So
is Dunk too injured? Yes.
Yeah. I think
by the end of it, Dunk would have collapsed and died.
Yeah, I mentioned in, I think, the thing that I sent you, that there's a very nice line in the books where Duncan thinks about it, and he says that he could vanquish Sir Duncan the Tall, but not Dunk of Flea Bottom, and that is basically what this entire flashback was. But in a way that we don't really like get that line, because obviously we are not inside his head.
Yeah,
but
another big thing is Dunk. It's clear Arlan didn't teach Dunk everything.
No.
But he taught Dunk how to defeat a knight in plate. The places where Dunk hits Arion are the weak points of plate.
Yeah.
So he knows where to strike.
Yeah. Very much so.
But also, yeah, it's amazing. And in the background, just after Arion first yields,
we see that the
mace to the back of Valor's skull.
Yeah, we see the killing blow.
We see it happen. And it's when Arion has already yielded. That just adds to the tragedy of the situation.
Yeah, and that entire like Maker trying to get to Arion.
Maker desperately trying to get to his son is in a brilliant addition.
Yeah, and sort of
it shows us that Maker absolutely cares for his sons.
Oh, absolutely. It's not that the Maker doesn't care for his son. It's more that he's way too depressed after the death of his wife.
Yeah, pretty much. To be fair, you try being the father to 6 children, 2 of which are sons who are utter disappointments, and the third may as well be a disappointment because you are a warrior and he is going to the Citadel.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I think you adored the fact that Arlan sings in Dothraki.
Oh, I love that part. Like,
And I pointed out we knew roughly how old Ser Arlan was, and we know from in the book it mentioned that Arlan saw the last dragon.
Yeah.
When he was in King's Landing as a boy.
Yeah.
So that means he was there in the 150s.
Yeah, so he's like 17.
So he's too young to have gone on the Dornish campaigns.
Likely.
Between the Dornish campaign of the Young Dragon.
Yeah, 160.
That's 160-ish. Up until the Blackfire Rebellion, there are no wars.
Yeah, it's like slight peaceful.
And Arlan is absolutely... We know Arlan is not a tourney knight.
Oh, no.
He's competed at tourneys, but he's not a winner of tourneys. And that's a very big thing.
Yeah.
Yet he's a skilled knight. He can brawl.
Yeah.
So my opinion, he was a sellsword in the East for a while.
That would make sense.
That makes the perfect sense. He probably served with one of the sellsword companies.
Yeah, and we know that
they're always happy to take a Westerosi knight.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get to Essos at this point. We even like see that there are ships.
It's surprising. It's both cheap and surprisingly expensive.
Yeah. But yeah, he sings in Dothraki. I sent you like the entire translation of that Dothraki.
You mean it's in here?
Well, it's in there, but It's basically talking about the Great Stallion and how give them courage and give them like mercy to basically defeat their enemies. That's the typical Dothraki thing.
Yeah.
But
But
it's very
and
very good. I'll put it on the screen.
and now we go to episode 6, The Morrow.
Mhm.
And the editing is shit.
Yeah.
There's too much cutting.
Mhm.
There's a I don't like the jump cuts from Lionel and Dunk to the funeral.
I see. That's the thing. We end last episode with Baylor dying, Dunk sort of wailing in his grief, and we start with Jazz.
Opening this with Dunk being too shocked to do anything and just lying next to his tree, and then Lionel coming around. That's fine.
But it's the way it's presented. It's presented.
Why is there jazz?
I mean, I don't mind the jazz, but it's definitely disconnect from the
No. The
end.
jazz should not be there in the show unless it's the credits.
Yeah, I guess.
The show should not have modern styles of music for a medieval story. That can work if you are doing a thing with it. But it's completely out of place in a show like this.
To me, it's more the disconnect from the last episode's end to this episode's start. Like, if had it been any other scene where it's flowed better,
hang on.
I wouldn't have minded. But, like, it's the fact that it starts with basically a complete tonal whiplash from, like, going from grief to this very comedic bit of Lionel chastising his maester for being seemingly stupid to do anything. It's, I don't know. It felt weird. But other than that,
yeah. So I'm looking at it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got the book cuts from the end of episode 5 straight to the funeral.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
That would have been better to set the tone, and then you jump to Lionel.
Yeah,
trying to get Dunk out of his stupor.
Yeah, so that's the tonal.
It's also what I also did not enjoy is they clearly paid attention to background because there's a pink-haired lady in the background.
Yeah.
Behind Valar, that is Valar's wife, Kiara of Tyrosh.
Kiara of Tyrosh, yeah.
And we don't hear anything about it. And even when we had the end scene, she's walking.
Yeah. Why? Like, Arian is riding the carriage. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things. But it's like, it's clear they just went, oh well, that's the thing in the. We might as well do this. Like, it would have actually been good to hear about this because she later marries Daeron the Drunken.
I mean, when Dunk is talking to Valar, he could have had like her there. I mean, she doesn't really have any dialogue.
Yeah,
but
offering silent support.
Yeah, she could be there with her husband, just being there in silence. But yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, because Valar is supposed to have children before the Great Spring Sickness.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like, why bother putting like a woman in a pink wig, and then not doing anything with it when it's just a tease for book fans?
Yeah. Given the fact that like we won't really see her.
Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Anyway, so
but like the funeral scene itself is fine.
Yeah.
The talk to Valar is perfect.
That is amazingly well done. The fact that they moved from the armor bit from Baelor to Valar, with Valar talking about
it's a thing of it's a good way of doing show don't tell.
Yeah,
where we saw that the army clearly didn't fit Baelor, but people might not notice that. And now we get the explanation, and you immediately feel, oh, but they are not the same height. They are not the same build.
So,
and his words of like, many sons can say they died in their father's armor. Not many sons can say their father died in theirs. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's very well done.
It's just a shame he dies in a year.
I mean, again, he is also a very we from the book we know that he's a bit like he's not good at attorneys. Let's just say that because he picks like weak opponents in the books. But but his disposition is very like Baylor. Like he may not be as a good a warrior as Baylor, but his disposition is very like Baylor.
Yeah. We now get into the issue of what was left. Why this episode is a little bit awkward. That is the fact that this entire episode has a massive 6 pages to
Yeah,
cover. They were stretched thin.
They had to stretch.
There
things
wasn't a
out.
lot.
Like the entire conversation with Maekar is split over 2 parts. With Dunk
Yeah,
refusing
they
at first.
outright they add like adding in sweet food. That is good.
Yeah,
The scene is awkward.
it's a bit awkward. Yeah.
The whole thing with Raymond marrying a prostitute. It's like, yeah, you've just tainted the reputation of your house for all eternity.
To be fair, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows because he says Lady Rowan.
It's
She's pretending to be Lady Rowan.
It's beyond dumb.
A bit, but like
it makes Raymond go from a little bit stupid to dumb.
Yeah, but it establishes the parallel between Dunk and Rowan.
It's still incredibly dumb.
It's a bit forced parallelism.
Also, because
but like
it's also the whole thing about pregnancy. Like, okay, Raymond, you would have had a knight's education. You're not this stupid in the book.
Yeah. And anyway, so that happens. Then we it's like
we are in the sweet food scene because we might as
Yes.
well skip around a little bit.
yeah,
In the sweet food scene, there is a very funny haha reference to when Raymond is talking about his
Yeah.
father and how he always wanted to start a new barreling outfit for cider.
mhm.
Considering the seat of how the green apple fossways will be new barrel, I see what you're doing there, showrunners and
Yeah.
writers. I see what you're doing there.
I think that they were. It's pretty on the nose. Well, not on the nose, for those who don't know, obviously. I didn't know, but yeah. Anyway, so that happens. As I said, the scene with Mecha split over 2 things with Dunk refusing at first, which doesn't really happen. And we see
No, but they
Egg-
need to split this up a little bit, and this is where you start getting into the issues.
Eggs. I don't think Egg would say that. You're not the knight I think you were. It felt weird.
It felt a little forced.
Yes.
It felt a little, yeah, we have 6 pages to work with. We need to extend this. You could have done that by doing scenes with the small folk.
Yeah.
You could have done that by showing us, show us Dunk actually properly considering joining Summerhall.
Yeah.
Do it that way.
Yeah, and
Like,
then
because he's thought we know he wants to be in serve a house.
Mhm.
Have it be about that. And then he remembers words from Ser Arlan, and then he thinks, no, I don't want this.
Yeah, but even earlier we do see him refusing Lionel about going to Storm's End.
Yeah.
So,
But it's like, yeah, it feels like that didn't need to be there.
It's
also I've seen someone, I don't know if it was you or someone else, point out, like, it feels like they're trying to set up that Lionel. Yeah, you said that their futures, like, that's a bit early, and they have no actual animosity between them.
Yeah.
Lionel full on respects Duncan.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, definitely.
But also by the time there's the strife in the 230s, they're established.
Yeah.
Ex-king. Lionel's the Lord of Storm's End.
Yeah, Aegon is
Dunk's
king.
the Lord Commander.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't need to add that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's weird.
It's not like Lionel appears in the other 2 novellas.
I think a lot of changes that they've made in this last episode, particularly, shows that they might be considering adding some of the characters from this season to next season. Especially
I don't
Maekar,
think to next
definitely.
season. But Maekar actor has already said he's not in the next season.
Then what's the point of doing that last scene?
I mean, the one thing I can think is that they've already filmed his stuff.
Mm.
That they deliberately shot that with the first, because they knew they were going to get more seasons.
Oh, yeah.
They were. I suspect that what they may have done is maybe they filmed like a scene with Maekar, Ak, and Dunk, so that the Ak actor is the correct age.
Probably, yeah. That would make sense.
Because we're gonna need an explanation of what the hell happened in the Seven Kingdoms.
I think some people have pointed out that Maekar doesn't really have his ring at the end, which would make no sense. That
So X stole it.
yeah, either Ed stole it, or if Maekar like, how would it slip off of Maekar's finger?
But also Maekar absolutely knows where Ek went this time.
Absolutely. I think he knows exactly where Egg is. Anyway, so that change was a bit weird.
Also, I just realized they're going to Dawn. The closest house, one of the closest houses to them from Ashford is the Danes.
I don't think they will see Danes, but yeah.
We'll see a bit in Dawn.
Yeah, maybe if they do the Dawn.
But
I don't think they'll do the Dawn scene.
They won't show, but there's flashbacks to Dawn, so
probably.
Like we're gonna, I'm certain. I suspect we're gonna replace the Arlan flashbacks with what's happened in the last year and a half.
Likely. We are definitely gonna get an Old Town flashback.
Could even have a thing of they visit Old Town at some point, and that's where Aemon hands them a letter from Maekar. Basically saying there's something happened. There's a disease in King's Landing. Stay out of the cities.
Likely.
Because how are you going to explain the Great Spring Sickness in a TV show?
It's plain.
Half the nobility dies.
Comment. But yeah, so that's.
It's also a shame that because it means we won't see the Bloodraven use the dragon pit as a funeral pyre.
Yeah.
It's the first use of wildfire.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so that happens. Few things more happen in this episode. We actually get sort of I wouldn't say it's a full-on confirmation that Dunk was never knighted, but it's definitely
it's a full confirmation. It's a full confirmation.
It's a very high implication. It's not.
No, it's a full. It's exactly that, because that's the exact tree where Arlan dies.
Yeah, that is true.
Arlan does not. It just dies very soon after that conversation. He never knighted Dunk. Dunk's not a knight. That does not need to be spelled out that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that scene was needed because I think I like the ambiguity of it. That
we need the ambiguity. You could even later on at some point have Dunk tearfully confess to Egg.
Yeah.
And Egg be like, "Yeah, I kind of figured."
Yeah.
Because you don't know the words.
Yeah. But yeah,
you are a knight in all but title, basically.
And that's why it's called a Knight of Seven Kingdoms. It's almost like
no, a Knight of the Nine Kingdoms.
A Knight of the Nine Kingdoms. Yes, that's
which. Yeah, that's a very funny joke. It absolutely would be made in the universe.
It's fan service. It's definitely fan service.
Well, also that, but it's also because when Aegon began the conquest, there were 7 kingdoms.
Yeah, obviously.
Dawn reached the Stormlands, the Westerlands, the Vale, the North, and the Iron Islands and Riverlands as one. There were no Crownlands yet.
Yeah, the no Crownlands and the islands were ruling the.
But even at this time, it is technically 7 kingdoms. Because the Crownlands aren't technically a kingdom; they're just the domain of the king.
And the islands are.
And Dawn isn't in the kingdoms yet. Oh yes, has only just joined. Yeah, but Dawn isn't even a kingdom. Yeah, but Dawn isn't even a kingdom. Dawn is a principality.
Fair. I mean, by that logic, even it wasn't a kingdom even before.
No, it's a confusing thing because they're always talking about the 7 kingdoms. Even pre-conquest, it's the 7 kingdoms of Westeros.
Yeah.
But a few centuries before that were definitely 8, because the Riverlands were their own independent kingdom.
As I said, it's always a bit wishy-washy. That's fine. That's how
it's 7 kingdoms because of the 7.
Yeah, it's 7 kingdoms with asterisks.
No, it's Seven Kingdoms because it's the Seven Kingdoms of the Andals.
Yeah,
It's
Seven
supposed to be.
Kingdoms of the
But
Andals, yeah.
even that doesn't make sense because the Iron Islands and the North aren't Andal kingdoms.
Again, I think Andals are a bit too hubris.
The Andals, hubristic. No. They only tried to invade the North multiple times and failed.
Anyway, so that's how this
But yeah, that's the show ends with Maker shouting.
Maker shouting. Which, yeah, fine, funny. But yeah, it's a good adaptation. It's a very good adaptation. I think I told you I would.
It's not like perfect.
I would give it like an
6 is
8.5.
definitely the weakest.
Yeah, 6 is definitely
episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a shame, but sticking the landing is always the most difficult part. We know that all too well.
Anyway, so I'll give it like an 8.5. It would have been a 9.5 had it stuck the landing, but like 8.5.
I'm
very good
with you on that regard because of the ending.
Yeah. So 8.5 is like amazing for me. So that is, and yeah, let's hope for a very good second season.
So for a very good second season, and let's hope that House of the Dragon later this year is also decent.
Yeah.
I'm not even hoping for good. I'm hoping for decent.
Yeah. Let's hope we get like the first season's glory back. Like I genuinely like the first season of House of Dragon.
It has issues. I don't like how much the age gaps are different. It's not the same story.
Yeah.
Alicent is supposed to be a proper stepmother figure, not a sister.
Yeah, but like that creates the further divide. The fact that they don't capitalize on it in the second season is where it fails.
What do you mean? We have conversations.
Yeah, like imagine a king going from one kingdom going into another kingdom multiple times. Anyway, so that's how that happens. Anyway, so yeah. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Fiez Athrivari Akehiana. Maharaji Vozzormeni Arroch Anna. Fiez Forza Sofi Zilivaseanna. Askejar Athrivari Anach Anna. Kathnizari Anna Hale Shafkea. Fishofaan Adavrashunaza. Kizinosi Anna Nem Avisit Azrok. Vilozeras Mora Budaan Shechaf. Afatak Rajef Atmelari. Rachi Vivejua. Matvejvenar. Mathranar. Vijazerakianni. Ajash Raishia Atikar Klasehi. Anha Vovikoferak Vashechi. Ajash Anhan Athajar Evi. Anha Voharak E Fejaki. Afatah Rajef Atmelari. Rachi Vivejua. Matvejvenar. Mathranar. Vijazerakianni.